Wait a second. What is going on, guys? This is Epic Spawn the Unit here, and today I'm super excited to announce that Sigma just went live on the PTR, and I gotta say he is absolutely insane and a ton of fun to play so far. So he is a Talon tank, and he is that sort of mad scientist type deal, astrophysicist I think the word was, and he is, I am going to say, is probably going to be an off-tank hero. If you try to play him as a main tank, I suppose you can maybe pull it off, but I don't think you should. I think you should run this guy along with a Zarya or a Reinhardt or an Orisa. Orisa probably really good, especially with her halt ability. But anyway, we're gonna give a rundown of his abilities and then some quick notes I have one Elim and it's gold, by the way. Twitch.tv/EpicSpawn300. So his left click, his primary attack is called Hyper Spheres. Launch 2 charges which implode after a short duration, dealing damage in an area. So how this works is, it is timed. Technically, it'll blow up after traveling a certain distance, and along with his explosion, it ricochets. Okay, so if you throw it at a wall that's close by, it'll travel that remaining distance after bouncing. I think this so it does really good bounce. At taking out squishies. And I'm excited. The area damage, it's a very small area damage. It's very small radius. But when you hit one enemy with it directly, it does have a chance of hitting an enemy that's sitting right next to it. So if you're trying to deal with a pharmacy, I wouldn't suggest it. But if you're trying to deal with a pharmacy and the Mercy just happens to be close enough to the Pharah, the Mercy will also take damage. Not nearly as much damage as you would want, but it would also deal damage to that Mercy. Also, with the hyperspheres, there was ever the oh so small amount of CC with the explosion. There's a very small amount of knockback and a very slow amount of slow effect to whoever you hit. So maybe huge impact on high mobility characters like Tracer or Genji, but really it's hardly even noticeable in game. Next we have his left shift, the kinetic grasp. Absorb projectiles in front of you and convert them into shields. This yeah, I'm gonna have to play another one. Is an okay ability, and I'm sure it might work fine in normal games. But in my experience, this so far move while streaming will be stopping ults. Someone will activate. I had a lot of trouble making an impact with this kinetic grasp with this ability. Maybe that's just because everybody else was playing Sigma. When I was going against a Bastion, I would counter it by walking up to it with the, well, not really counter it, but I would walk up to it with kinetic grasp, absorb all the damage he was shooting back at me, and then I would have an extra 300 health. That's fantastic, but what am I gonna do with that 300 shield? Because it's temporary, and the Bastion is still shooting at me. So I'm just gonna lose that extra 300. So I really feel like this needs a buff. It's easy to use, but hard to apply it practically. I think kinetic grasp needs some type of a buff. We have the next ability here. I believe it's pronounced accretion. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Gather a mass of debris and throw it at an enemy to knock them down. Okay, so what this does is it does exactly what it says it does. It collects a bunch of rocks from around the area into this big blob and then yeets it at whoever you're aiming at. And the knocking, the stun, has the potential to nullify ultimates, I believe. Since I was playing mainly against other Sigmas, when they were using kinetic grasp, you could use accretion and then stop them from using kinetic grasp. I did not have much of a chance to use it against other players. I would assume if you're going against the Moira and use accretion, it would stun the Moira and it would completely nullify her ult, and she wouldn't be able to use her ult anymore. She'd lose it. So, as for heroes like Genji, since it's an 8-second timer, I don't think I highly doubt it would stop that ult, but yes, something like that. There's definitely a stun to it, and it knocks players down and has the chance to notify some other ults. I'm just not sure of all the interactions. Next, we have what makes him a tank, which is experimental barrier. Hold to prepare a floating barrier. Release to stop. Press again to recall the barrier to you. Okay. So imagine Symmetra's turret, but being able to control where it stops. Okay, it's actually pretty cool. Again, really hard to apply. This Sigma character, the Sigma tank, is gonna be very high skill cap, I think, in order to master all of his abilities and get the right timings down. But experimental barrier does exactly what it says it does. You hold the button to release it, and once it gets to the point to where you want it to stay, you let go of the button. And it has 1500 health, and it'll just, tank all the damage that gets shot at it. You can either wait for it to get destroyed, or you can recall it back. Note, it won't regen health until you call it back. So if you're not using it, I highly suggest recalling it and not forgetting about it. I could not tell you the amount of times I just forgot about it, and I finally recalled it, and it had like no health or nearly destroyed, and just don't forget about it. And for his ultimate, we have Gravitic Flux. Manipulate gravity to lift enemies into the air and slam them back down. Now, again, it does exactly what it says it does. It lifts them up and slams them back down. I don't have an exact number, but it's a lot of damage. I think it does 300. Don't quote me, I think it does 300 damage. And what's interesting about this, again, I don't know how this is going to interact with other ults, because when you're in the air for about 2 to 3 seconds, but you're still able to like move a little, and you're still able to attack, use your abilities and like your ults, because I had Lucio trapped in my Gravitic Flux, and he used Sound Barrier to counter, and it saved his teammate and it saved himself. So I'm not quite sure how this is gonna work. I also feel like this would be really easy to counter and like really easy to like not worry about. Not quite sure. So there you go, guys. Sigma is gonna be a very high skill cap tank, and I forgot to mention earlier, about 200 health, 200 shield, rechargeable shield, and then the kinetic grasp will add on temporary shield after absorbing that damage. First impression, Sigma is fantastic and a ton of fun to play, but I've only played him in No Limit. I've not tested him out against like actual comps and with actual comps. And I did not want to play 2-2-2 roll queue, because then it would have been a quick draw to play him, and I did not want to deal with that. So hopefully in a week or two he's still just as good as we think he is, and he's a lot of fun to play, and I cannot wait to see him played in the Overwatch League. But that's gonna be all for me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe. That would make me very happy. Hit the like button and hit post notifications so you don't miss an upload. I want to bid you all a good day. And just in case I don't see you later, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye. I'll talk to you later, Henning. Oh, there we go.
I helped.
Yes, you did. I appreciate it.
I'm not demonstrating.